Hey there, Twins fans. My name is Seth Stos of Twins Daily, twinsdaily.com, bringing you an episode of Twins Daily live. We don't do it every day, but I think it'd be nice if we do a few more like this. And today is a special opportunity because of something that happened in the Twins minor league system today. But real quick, the Saints lost 3-1 at Indianapolis. That said, Zebby Matthews threw 5 1-hit innings. That's a positive. Wichita lost the first of their 2 games today, making up a game from yesterday. Cedar Rapids down 8-1, but it's only in the 4th inning there. So, but the big story happened down in Fort Myers at Hammond Stadium, where 4 pitchers combined to throw a no-hitter for the Mighty Mussels. Now, it's not necessarily an unusual thing with the Mussels, and we'll talk more about that with our guest, Andrew Pauling. He's the play-by-play voice of the Mighty Mussels. And Andrew, how are you today? Anything going on there for you? You're not too busy, are you?
Fantastic, super busy. A lot going on here at the ballpark, but just a crazy day. You never know what you're going to see at the stadium, and today started off a little hectic for us, and then there's just momentum building the whole time with what was going on with the team, and just really cool to be a part of a little bit of history here. So I appreciate you reaching out and having me on.
That's awesome. It's exciting for those guys. Now, have you been with the Mussels since the pandemic, or were you there before that, or what's your history with the team?
3rd season with the team here. I worked with John Vitas, who's the Twins radio pre- and post-game host now in 2024, and then took over that lead role when he got his big league job last year. So I'm in year 3 here. We had a rain-shortened no-hitter in 24 that we were on the road for. I wasn't even at that game, and that was a rain-shortened game. It was only 5 or 6 innings, like it was barely an official game. So this one was certainly special to be able to do it at home and wrap up a 5-game win streak with it.
Very cool. Yeah, I was going to say, since the pandemic, this is the 4th no-hitter. They had one in 2021.
Yeah, this is number 6. This is number 6 now, counting that game.
But there were 2 of them before the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just 4 in the last 4.5 seasons. So
yeah,
I mean, if you want a job where you might see a no-hitter, apparently it's calling games for the Mighty Mussels down in Fort Myers.
Kind of an annual thing now, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about it. I mean, it wasn't the Riley Quicks. It wasn't, James Ellswinger, who's, as we know, is on the injured list. It wasn't with the big names, but it was some guys who all have pretty interesting stories. So let's start with Merritt Jones, who made the start for Fort Myers today. The Twins liked him so much they've drafted him twice in the last couple of years here. He gave up 2 walks, but no hits. He went 3 1/3. What have you seen from him so far? What do the Twins like, apparently, and what they saw in him?
Yeah, he's got good command. He fills up the strike zone really well. He talked today. I was down and getting quick interviews with guys after the game today, and he was talking about how no strikeouts on the day, but he was trying to get quick outs and be economical. This is his 2nd time facing this Dunedin lineup this week. He threw a lot of pitches earlier in the week, so he knew that he wasn't going to have as much of a leash from a pitch count standpoint, so he was trying to avoid deep counts, and he was getting a lot of weak contact, and for his sake, Dunedin was swinging early in the counts, which certainly helped him get through 3 1/3 without really needing to throw a whole lot of pitches. He did that 3 1/3 on 34 pitches, so lot of quick outs for him today. You're muted there, Seth.
I knew I'd do that. Sorry. What is his kind of pitch mix? Does he throw hard, or is he kind of a strike thrower who needs to rely on location and defense?
I think he locates well. I think that's the big thing for him. Just understanding his pitches, understanding the strike zone. He's not one of those upper 90s high octane guys, but he's a really good pitcher, which is something that has definitely gone by the wayside in the last 10 to 15 years, where everyone gets oohed and awed over the velo. But good for him for being a guy that knows how to go out there and pitch and not just rip it and throw the ball as hard as he can.
Yeah, it's such an important thing, even today, when like you said, there's so many guys throwing so hard. checking the transactions before the game, the Mussels sent Yilber Herrera across the parking lot over to minor league or to the FCL Twins roster and brought in Matthew Becker, 19th round pick last year, South Carolina. Made his pro debut today, and I hope he understands that you don't throw or see a no-hitter every game. He had 3 strikeouts, no walks, 3 2/3 innings, and I want to say he was pretty efficient too. 46 pitches in not quite as efficient as Merritt Jones, but 46 and 3 2/3 is actually pretty good too.
Yeah, and he had some really good stuff from the left side. The Mussels only have one other left-hander on the roster, and Jake Murray, who ended up being the guy to get the final out. So yeah, Becker ended up pitching the bulk of the game. He gets the win in his debut. I was talking with him and Ryan Sprock after the game, and they had worked together this spring at least on the backfields a little bit. So despite him being on the roster as of this morning, there was at least a little familiarity, like they had thrown a ball together before, which certainly helps just to know what a guy has on the mound. And yeah, it comes in, and at the time it's okay. The starter went 3 1/3 hitless baseball. That's great. Let's try to keep it going, and not realizing what that, obviously end of the game is going to look like at the point. But just came in. He was ready to go. And yeah, South Carolina kid who, we're excited to have around now that he's here.
Very cool. Yeah. What a performance in your pro debut. Next pitcher to came in for the 8th inning. That was Eric Hammond pitching at his home stadium of apparently named after him. He had 1 strikeout. I know he had a runner. He'd reach on an error. There were, I think, 4 errors total by the Mussels in the game. I don't know if we're going to talk about that, but so it wasn't a perfect game by any means. And these guys did have to work out of more trouble than you would think a no-hitter would necessitate. But, tall right-hander. I think he was a non-drafted guy out of Georgia where he pitched for West Johnson. Tall guy, right? Big guy?
Yeah, 6'4". Undrafted free agent from last year. And the defense today, 3 of the errors were on one guy who was playing defense for the first time in over a week. He had missed time with injury, so there was a little rust there on that end. And then the other one was on a pickoff throw. So, not the cleanest defensive game, but then again, the pitching just buckled down inning after inning. They didn't let any of that phase them.
So I'm curious, maybe there's pitch limits and things like that, but he got the first 2 outs, and then your manager, Jordan Smith, came out, took him out with 1 out to go, brought in Jake Murray, a lefty, who I believe also is a non-drafted guy out of I just checked it right before we came on here, but now I'm not going to remember. He walked a guy, which I can about him. Go ahead.
Out of Campbell. I got the roster still.
That's right. Next to me. Yep, the Campbell Camels. I believe they play at Jim Perry Ballpark, the former the Twins Hall of Famer, former Cy Young winner. He walked a guy, looked a little nervous the first couple pitches, but in the end got a called 3rd strike on a pitch that looked pretty much right down the middle to end the game. So I can imagine what his nerves were like coming into that. It's not these guys know what's going on, right? They all knew what was happening.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm not sure if that was just to get him some work because he was hot today or not. Hammond threw 15 pitches, 12 of them were strikes. So personally, I was surprised when they did the change with 2 outs in the 9th, but it all worked out. It all happens for a reason. And, the cards Jordan was pulling today were the right ones. And they have been the right ones here for the season because the Mussels are hanging out at the top of the standings as we're getting close to wrapping up month number 1 of the year.
So there were four errors, 3 walks because Murray added the 3rd walk, and I think Merritt Jones hit a batter as well. So again, a lot of base runners for a no hitter, but still, nonetheless, what was the atmosphere at the ballpark or in the clubhouse when you had a chance to talk to these guys after the game?
Ballpark atmosphere was great today. We had the Southwest Florida card show, so there was over 900 ticketed fans here for a Sunday afternoon game because of that. So there was a lot of extra buzz around the stadium than the standard Sunday here in Florida. But the clubhouse was electric. They've been, riding it for the last 5 days, where this pitching staff now leads all of minor league baseball in ERA. They have 6 shutouts. That paces all of professional baseball as well. But the offense is really just fired away over these 5 games, and not so much today, just the 3 runs, but the 3 games prior, 6 home runs over those 3 games, and the pitching staff had led the way for the first couple weeks, and it's really nice to see that offense starting to heat up and really complement that pitching staff in a meaningful way, and certainly helps now to be 7 games over 500.
Well, I think on Saturday they had a 7-run inning and they scored 9 runs in that game.
Yeah.
It was either Thursday or Friday that they didn't score the first couple innings of the game, and I think they scored like 6 or 7 straight innings.
10 unanswered. It was 6 innings in a row, 10 unanswered. I want to say that was Friday night's game off the top of my head.
I think that's right, because I've been writing the report these last couple of days. I mean, you look at the numbers of the guys on the roster, I think 2 things. One, Demiri Pena is just that good. I mean, I know he's returning. There's really not necessarily a spot today for him to get enough playing time in Cedar Rapids. So he just continues to rake. I know he's under 400 now, but that's okay. And it also seems like since Yasser Mercedes came back, I believe he had an oblique injury. He seems to, I think he's got 4 home runs in 7-8 games. And he just, he seems like a different player than what you saw last year and that little bit at the end of the year before.
Yeah, he finally looks comfortable, and they made a mechanical adjustment with Yasser, and he's got 4 home runs, and he's missed half of the games that have been played already this year, and he's tied for 2nd in the league in home runs. So they got his bat a little more vertical, a little more up here with everything instead of having it tucked back, and that has made all the difference in the world. And he's a physical specimen. He's got 5 tools. He's got pop. He's got boatloads of speed, which we saw when he went 34 for 35 in steals last year. And even last year, he had 11 home runs, so he didn't have a bad season in that regard, but the batting average was nowhere close to where he wanted it to be last year. And now we're seeing, he talked about how he's just missing under pitches a lot last year, and by getting the hands here, he's not just getting all these foul balls straight back that he's underneath. And for Demuri, he was really good for us last year, but a guy who uses the whole field, and a lot of what he's done has been opposite field singles, base hits up the middle. And over the last couple of days, he's starting to get comfortable with the pull side as well, and hit one off the wall in left center earlier in the weekend. So definitely good to see those 2 guys succeeding after being the mainstays from last year's team.
And again, we're with Andrew Pauling. He's the radio or the play-by-play voice of the Fort Myers Mighty Mussels. Hope you don't mind that. Since I got you, I'd like to, if you don't mind, ask just a few more questions before we get going. And let you go do the rest of all the things you need to get done.
I want to know every day, but yeah, go ahead.
Before you call it a day, I'm talking a little bit. Today, but Ramiro Dominguez has come up from the FCL. He was a Twins Daily hitter of the year last year in the FCL, and he's come up and done good things. I know he's played all over the infield, has several errors at each position, I think, but seems to be a legit hitter.
Yeah, no, he really impressed here. He joined us. This was a back-to-back homestand, so he joined us last week, and just a ton of pull side pop for him. Plays 3 spots around the infield. He's got a couple errors over these games, but then again, he's playing a different position every night. Pretty versatile young kid, and he's just excited to be here. And obviously, he was the most recent guy added, and they've sent down 2 other position players since he came up. So it's not like he was up and then the first guy back on the chopping block. So he's certainly impressed enough to make it where, hey, we're going to find a way to get this guy some playing time. Didn't really end up playing here today. I don't recall what he did yesterday, but been very, very impressed with how he's been able to turn on some pitches, and even started going the other way a little bit towards the end of this series. So that's a guy where I didn't know anything about him 2 weeks ago, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he does over the course of the season, and just seeing how he develops. He talked to us. We had him on a pregame show. We talked about just taking care of his body and how to get through a full season and everything. And he's up here, and he's definitely doing everything he can to stick around.
I think yesterday he had a couple doubles, and I know he's got a couple home runs already in a short time up there. I also, another Ramiro, I don't know a lot about Ramiro Villanueva, but he made his first start with you last night, and 4 shutout innings?
Yeah. He's kind of got
from the DSL.
Yeah, he's got the Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn look to him a little bit with the glasses, if you see him on video. But yeah, he came up, and again, that was a guy we knew next to nothing about, because he hadn't even pitched at the complex level yet, just 19 years old for him, and came up and absolutely dominated yesterday on 4 innings, and So the Mussels get that from him yesterday. They get 3 2/3 from Becker today. So the guys they've added into the mix here, especially over the weekend, have really ended up contributing. And, with Ramiro last week now, it's been 3 or 4 guys in a row that have been added to this roster that immediately come in and just start being able to take care of business.
I assume once they get started, which I believe the FCL season starts May 4th, so a couple weeks from now, you probably don't have a ton of time to get over there and look. But I asked this for a couple of reasons. One, do you get a chance to go over there very often? And secondly, do you get good communication from over there about maybe guys that are playing well or could be coming up that you can start researching? And specifically, Bruin Magbayani, you saw him just at the end of last year. Is he a guy that is close? I think he had a thumb injury.
Yeah, I don't have any official update on where he's at with everything.
Okay.
But I know the expectation is that he'll be back here in the first half of the season. That could be this week. That could be next week. That could be next month. I don't really know what that looks like for him. But, yeah, they do a good job of letting me know most often a day ahead of time on what moves look like, just so I can get some stuff prepped up for that. And then our official scorer and the guy who does the stringing for MLB stats for most of the games here for the Mussels, those guys also do the complex games, so they'll come over and sometimes they'll just give me a nudge before the game, be like, hey, you might want to have this guy on your radar. He's on his way up. Try to get over there a little bit. I got over for some backfield games during spring when the Twins were on the road, and we just had regular office days here at the stadium, and definitely have that goal to get over for a couple games just to check things out. There's just a lot to do on a home day, and I typically travel with the team, so it's not like I'm just sitting around on non-game days here. But try to get over there at least a couple times and just see who's who, and I definitely at least check in on the stats there to realize, hey, if this guy's hitting 350, we're probably going to be talking about him next week, just to have an idea of who's on the way.
The 2 guys in our top 20 rankings on your roster are obviously Riley Quick. Well, James Ellwinger is number 20, but he'll move up probably, even if he's probably out for the year now, or at least for 60 days. I know he's on the 60-day IL. The other one is Quentin Young, who today walked twice, and accomplishment. Take the little wins, no strikeouts. When he puts the ball in play, he hits the ball really hard, but I think he's got about a 50% strikeout rate. So is he just trying to do too much? That swing is really long. I'm not a hitting coach, but there's a lot going on there.
Well, you see that with high school guys. It's not an exclusive to him issue. You see that with a lot of high round high school picks where they go from high school competition where maybe one guy every month or one guy every couple weeks that you face has anything close to the pitching that you see here. So we saw it with Brandon Winokur a couple years ago where you get a higher strikeout total than the batter would like to have over those first couple weeks of the season, and then they settle in and are able to get their feet under them a little bit. And Quentin works hard, and he's done a lot of things right here over the last 2 weeks as far as the quality of the at-bats are going up. He does have a ridiculous amount of power. That's to all fields. His home run was the other way. He's hit a triple off the right center gap, hit a double off the center field wall yesterday or the day prior. So he's a guy where, not that you expect a guy to strike out, but as you get that first month of the season, you expect there to be at least a higher strikeout total than what that player is going to be happy with. And then you look at the month-to-month breakdown with how these guys develop over their first professional season. And, you can hope that then by the end of August, that's hey, there's this gradual, you can see this improvement as the season goes on. And he's doing all the things right to get there. And what we've seen over the last couple of weeks has definitely been promising as, the plate appearances are better, the contact's better. He's getting a little more comfortable defensively too. And so that's a kid that, the sky's the limit. He's got a great ceiling here, and, we're looking forward to watching him develop. You're muted again, Seth.
Sorry. I was looking at the roster quick, but he's playing mostly shortstop. I thought he'd play more third, maybe a little bit in the outfield, DH more, but he looks the part of a shortstop. Other than he's really tall, but he's got the arm. He's got the movement. I think he seems like plenty of an athlete. He looks the part. Do you think? I know there's a lot of errors, but that's going to happen early too.
I think he's certainly got the potential to stick it short. We haven't seen him in the outfield at all. He's got big league uncles who spent time in the outfield. So that's not something that I've seen him do, or I've heard any rumblings about anything like that going on. So I believe the intention is to keep him on the left side of the infield. And typically that's, for him, maybe 3 or 4 days a week at short, a day or two at third, over a 6-game series. But again, same thing. I'll use Brandon Winokur as the example because he was the other high school position player who played on the left side of the infield in my time here. And, they had him at short primarily, but they'd work him out at third a little bit. They did put him in the outfield a little. They haven't done that with Quentin yet at all. And again, I don't believe there's any intention to do that in the near future for him. But that's something where you want to be versatile because you get a chance to go up to Cedar Rapids or Wichita and, hey, you've only played shortstop, but their second baseman gets hurt, for example, or their third baseman gets hurt. So especially at our level, everybody plays 2 or 3 positions for the most part. There's kind of a left fielder by committee sometimes just to get guys reps in the outfield. And it just helps with your development. And it helps that then when that phone rings, it's not, oh, this guy hasn't played left field since last August, or he hasn't played second base in a year and a half. They want to at least keep guys fresh at multiple positions. And you see it with a guy like Dominguez. He gets his number called here and he's playing all over the infield. He's hitting the ball well. And now he's going to have a chance to play some more, it would seem like. And then at least for guys like that, it helps you continue to progress if you can move around.
I know I've kept you too long, and I've got just one thing I wanted to ask too. And then you've got a road series, so you got a lot going on. So I do appreciate you doing this. Ryan Sprock caught the majority of the game today, which is interesting because when he was drafted out of Elon last year, he was an infielder. He did some pitching, I think, there as well. But he was just moved to catcher last year. How does he feel about how that's going? And to be a part of a no-hitter like this, work with the pitchers, work with multiple pitchers, that he must be coming along pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll be the first one to tell you that, he was definitely in the deep end with the transition last year because he was drafted as a third baseman. He also pitched at Elon, but he'd never caught before. And so all of last year after the draft, he spends those next better part of 2 months learning the catching position. He gets into a couple games at the end of the season as like a mid-inning switch. He got 1 start behind the plate, and it went how you'd expect it to go for a guy that's catching a professional game with 2 months of experience. And what I can tell you about Ryan Sprock is that he works his tail off, and he gets here for the start of this Mussels season, and he looks like a guy who seriously put in the work over the last 4 or 5 months with the offseason, with spring training, on the backfields, where he looks tenfold as far as being more comfortable back there. He's more confident in what he's doing. And, you could see a guy be in the same situation where, hey, they're making me catch. It didn't go well. I didn't like it. And they come in the next spring and they look just like they did with those, couple of get your feet wet type games. But that's not the case with him. He went in and just dove into the deep end with it. He did the work. He's put the time in. Unfortunately, he did leave today's game with an injury. He's fine. Just got roughed up on a foul ball, so he wasn't able to stay in for the last couple outs of the game. But he's fully embraced it. It's been really good to see, because that was one of the things I was thinking about this year was how much different is Sprock going to look behind the plate than he did in that one game that he started in September, which, again, is small sample size, not a lot of time to learn the position. It's the hardest position in sports besides maybe being a goalie in hockey. And then again,
and the other team was being mean. I mean, they just put guys on and go. It was not exactly fair.
They ran all over, and it's professional baseball, and the other team in the dugout doesn't care that it's your first time.
They're not going to feel bad for you.
No, and I think that was used as motivation for him, where he's like, okay, I need to put this work in this offseason and make this my priority. And he's hitting the ball well as well, but he knows how to work with the staffs now. He knows what he's doing behind the plate, and there's still some stuff that comes up where it's, hey, these are situations that he may not have encountered before, or might have only encountered once or twice here as he gets comfortable back there. But I've got all the confidence in the world here with just what I've seen from the offseason with him, and how different and how much more polished he looks behind the plate than he did 6 months ago. And again, that's a testament to the player. That's a testament to the development team on the back end for trying to get him right with that. Our manager last year, Seth Feldman, who's a complex coordinator, is a catcher by trade. So he's not catching coach as a job title, but he did a lot of defensive work with Sprock last year that I'd imagine at least helped set the groundwork and the foundation for what his offseason looked like as he learned that position.
Is Tucker Frawley? I know he's the minor league catching coordinator. Is he out of Fort Myers? Is he there quite a bit, or is he somewhere else and maybe you haven't even seen him yet?
I'm not sure. I don't think I've met him in person yet.
Okay.
We have a lot of coordinators that I try to introduce myself to when I see him for batting practice, and try to still put names to faces with everything. But I don't believe I've met him yet.
All right, you got 22 seconds on Riley Quick.
He's the real deal.
Yeah,
absolute real deal. Upper 90s fastball. He's been a joy to watch.
He gave up a hit though the other day.
Oh goodness, yeah, one hit in 10 innings, whatever he's thrown, but something like that. But he's legit. Certainly won't be down here in Single A for long, and he's got the 6'6" frame. I think he's listed at 255, and like he's got that stuff that normally on a Single A team you have a couple of guys every year that are going to be big leaguers. It's really between 1 to 3 on every roster at our level of guys that actually make it to the big leagues. Typically is what it looks like. And he's the easy pick out of the guys this year where, hey, as long as this guy stays healthy and keeps doing what he's doing, he could hopefully have a really long career. And definitely a guy who has just a whole lot going on in that right arm and real special talent.
I mean, the healthy part is such a big part. Again, James Ellwanger, I mean, he's in that same category, similar category. I mean, they're all different, unique, but he's, again, out with an elbow issue right now. Thank you so much. You've got such an entertaining, I think, interesting roster. I mean, I didn't even ask you about, Acuna and Chorio, who have been there for a little while, but Jason Bass is a guy that is getting an opportunity this year. And again, all these new pitchers, the Twins and what they developed with pitchers, getting guys who would throw 90 at the draft and now they're throwing 95. I look forward to kind of following. So your games are must watch if people are on the MILB package. You guys do a great job. You guys do a great job on Twitter, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I do. I appreciate all you guys do, and thank you for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely, Seth. Appreciate the interest here in the team, and just looking forward to watching these guys to keep all this good momentum going.
Very cool. Thanks again. Have yourself a good rest of your day. Sorry I kept you so long, and enjoy the road trip.
Thank you. Will do, Seth.
All right. Have a good one. Again, that was Andrew Pauling, Fort Myers, a Mighty Mussel radio play-by-play guy. You heard him here. And again, let's just do a quick score check. Let's see how we do this. There we go. Quick score check and a little bit of highlights. Right now, while things aren't going great in Peoria for Cedar Rapids, it's been a good week, though, for Peoria. In Peoria for those Colonels. But let's start with St. Paul. They did win against Indianapolis 3-1, beating former Astros World Series hero Jose Urquidy. Put up 2 runs in the first inning. A lot of stuff going on here that I think is pretty interesting if you're a Twins fan. And that includes Zebby Matthews. And again, 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. That is a little more similar to the numbers that we saw from him a couple of years ago. Obviously, we don't know yet at this point what he's done. Maybe he's made some big adjustment. Looks like he had several calls overturned for him by catcher Noah Cardenas. But, obviously the stuff is there. It'd be good to see him continue to pitch like this. But then Kendry Rojas, who we obviously saw make his major league debut last week, he came in relief and pitched 3 innings. He gave up 2 hits, no runs, no walks, which is the key for Rojas. He had 5 strikeouts in 3 innings. So a very good workmanlike effort for both Matthews and Rojas. Maybe that's kind of the role they're looking at with Rojas for right now. He is younger. He is slight, and he's got room to grow, I guess is what I should be saying. But in both cases, and I don't know if these are all accurate, but Zebby Matthews threw about 68% strikes. Kendry Rojas threw 35 strikes out of the 44 pitches he threw, which I'm not even going to do the math, but that's closer to 80% than we see very often. So, impressive outing. Luis Garcia got his first save. He gave up a run in the 9th. The 39-year-old veteran just joined the team this week. So On the other side, the offensive side of the ball, Kyler Fedko had 2 hits. No other hitter had more than 1, but Ryan Kreidler did hit his second home run, his first since returning to the team from the Twins that he spent a week or 10 days with as well. So good game there for the Saints, 3-1 win. They are currently 11-15 on the season. Wichita is playing 2 today. They got rained out yesterday. The first game is over, and they lost to Northwest Arkansas 6-5. Let's see. They only had 3 hits. They did walk 7 times. Kalai Rosario had 3 of those walks. Billy Amick and Ricardo Olivar each hit their 5th home run of the season, which, it sounds like such a small number, but I mean, that's in the first month. So take that in consideration. Consider that they've got 5 more full months to play, or 4 more months. I mean, you're looking at 25 home run projection if they're at 5 now. Not that they'll get there, but just kind of when I say 5 home runs, it's actually pretty impressive start for both of them, Olivar and Amick. Amick playing first base. Olivar was catching today. Both of them also had 1 of the walks for the team as well. On the mound for the first game was Sam Armstrong, came over from the Cubs last year in the Willie Castro deal, along with Ryan Gallagher. He gave up 1 run on 3 hits and a walk in 4 innings. The rest of the bullpen didn't do as well. No, they just there were errors and there were other things as well. The second game has started. They're just in the first inning. Wichita grabbed a lead in the top of the first. Ty Langenberg is starting for the team. The Iowa native has had a really nice start to his season with the win surge. He gets the game 2 nod. Actually, Garrett Spain, Rule 5 pick, minor league Rule 5 pick, was with the Brewers organization last year. He led off the game in this case with his 5th home run of the season. So we'll see where that game takes us. Let's jump down to Cedar Rapids again. They've had, like I said, a good series in Peoria. Merrick Houston has had an unbelievable week. He had multi-hit games in all 5 games coming into today. Right now he's 0 for 1, but it's only the 5th inning, and he does have a sacrifice fly. So he has been productive as well. Michael Ross started the game. He gave up 4 runs, 3 of them earned on 1 hit, which was a homer, and 3 walks in 2 innings. Nick McAuliffe made his Twins organization debut, professional debut. He's the guy I wrote about a little bit yesterday in the Twins minor league report. He pitched at 4 different colleges over about a 6-year period. Last year, he pitched in 2 different independent leagues, the Frontier League and the American Association. He pitched 1 inning, gave up 4 runs, 3 earned, 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 of them being a home run. Christian Becerra came in, and in the first inning he pitched, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, but I'm guessing he'll stick in there for a little while if he can. He's had some starting history, so I'm sure he can go at least a couple more innings, hopefully. Again, that's it. They only have 2 hits so far, no walks, not a lot going on. But again, it's been a very good week for that team, especially Eduardo Tait, who had first inning home runs a couple of times, and Merrick Houston, who had an RBI, who has the RBI in the game. And again, 10-1, they're down. And again, the big story down in Fort Myers, another no-hitter. That's 6 of them in franchise history since they joined the Twins organization and moved to Fort Myers in 1991. Kind of fun. I went back and looked up the other ones, the previous ones, and they're all kind of unique in their own way. The first one, Johan Pino, some may remember him. He was one of my favorites. He always put up tremendous numbers. He was always a little bit older as a prospect, but he was signed late out of one of the Caribbean countries. I want to say Venezuela, but I'm not completely sure on that. He had 2 walks and 6 strikeouts and 7 innings. He went the distance. It was obviously part of a doubleheader, so he gets credit for that. The Miracle won 2-0 over Lakeland. The next one was Alex Wimmers, if you remember, August 14th, 2011. He was the number one pick for the team in 2010, but in 2011 really struggled with his control. The word or the phrase, the yips, is definitely something that was a big part of that, and he really fought that all year. But at August 14th, so kind of late in the season, he had a game where he walked 3, but he struck out 9 in a 7-inning no-hitter. Again, the team won 1-0 over Bradenton. But just kind of a unique story there, kind of a look back at the first-round pick who suffered the yips, which is a lot of people don't come back from that. He came back. In fact, he spent a couple of seasons or parts of a couple of seasons with the Twins in the bullpen. So, good on him. Then they didn't have another no-hitter until after the pandemic. September 18th, 2021, 4 pitchers combined to toss the no-hitter, 7 innings as well. The first 6 innings, each pitcher went 2 innings, and that was Reggie Grace, Landon Leach, the Canadian, and Bradley Hanner, who was a non-roster invite this year with the Yankees. Each of them threw 2 innings, and then Matthew Swain, who was about a 6'8" right-handed pitcher, threw hard. He threw the 7th inning to complete the no-hitter, and they combined 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. The Mussels won that game 7-0 over Tampa, so it's always fun to beat the Yankees and their affiliates. May 10th, 2022, so not long after in terms of number of games. September 18th would have had to have been, about the last week of the 2021 season, and May 10th had to have been about, maybe the 5th week of the season 2022. This was the first 9-inning no-hitter in franchise history. They beat Palm Beach 3-0. And in this one, the story was David Festa, who had been drafted the year before. Again, not a hard thrower in college, but in this game specifically, I noted or found that he had averaged 95.8 on the fastball and actually hit 99.1. He had 2 walks in the first 6 innings, but he also struck out 11 batters. So just a very dominant performance by Festa. Jalen Nowlin came on. He struck out 2 batters over the next 2 innings. And then Hunter McMahon, he got the final 3 outs to complete the no-hitter. And the other one that in franchise history is kind of up in the air as far as if it's official. Officially, it's not a no-hitter, but obviously teams will consider it a no-hitter because, they got as many outs in the game as they could have. It was an official game, but it was called in the 6th inning due to lightning. I want to say that the team actually won 2-1. They gave up a run, so it wasn't like a perfect game or anything like that, but it was Ross Dunn was the starter for the Mussels, and a rehabbing Justin Topa pitched an inning, and Wilker Reyes came in after that, and then there was lightning in the area, so they ended it there. And on today, again, a very exciting 9-inning no-hitter, so just the second of those in the franchise's history. Merritt Jones, a guy they've drafted the last couple of years out of Utah, 3 1/3 innings, 2 walks, no strikeouts. He's got a 1.93 ERA on this season so far this month, so very good. Matt Becker was added to the roster this morning. He was their 19th round pick a year ago out of South Carolina. Yilber Herrera went down to the FCL. Becker came up. He came on in relief of Jones in the 4th inning. He went 3 2/3 and had 3 strikeouts. Very impressive outing by him. Eric Hammond got a hold. He got 5 outs, 1 strikeout, and then they took him out with 1 out left in the game and brought in Jake Murray, the lefty. Walked the first guy he faced just to make sure we stayed on our toes. And then got a strikeout to end the game and finish the no-hitter. So, again, good for him. Jones did hit a batter, but a lot of good happened in the game. Offensively, they scored 3 runs, 3-0. If you take a look at how they scored their runs, in the 3rd inning, Yasser Mercedes hit a grounder to right field that scored Brian Acuna and made it 1-0. Then in the 6th inning, Ryan Sprock, who we talked about with Andrew Pauling just moments ago, he singled in a run to actually drive in Mercedes to make it 2-0. And then in the 8th, Quentin Young flew out to left field, but it was deep enough to drive in Brian Chorio with a 3rd run, a little extra cushion there as well. So, again, just they didn't have a lot of hits, 5 hits, 6 walks. Young walked twice and had the sacrifice fly. But it was just a good game. Another Yasser Mercedes, 2 reach base twice. He had a single and a walked once. He's hitting 297 with a OPS of 1.071. I mentioned Demiri Pena in our conversation earlier with Andrew as well. He was 1 for 4. His batting average now down to 375. OPS at 890. He has been right around the 950 range most of the season. And again, a contact hitter, doubles hitter, line drives, just knows how to hit. And again, this roster is interesting. It's got, Eduardo Beltre, who's played right and made a defensive play today. That was very nice, diving, sliding catch kind of thing. Again, Quentin Young is doing a nice job at shortstop. Several errors, but again, a lot of learning going on there, development, all that stuff. Brian Acuna is the name we didn't really mention before. He's been on the injured list for about 10 days. He came off of it yesterday and DH'd, and then today was the first day he'd been back in the field. He had 3 errors in the game, but, a couple of them were throwing, or 1 was throwing, 2 were fielding. Normally he's pretty good, especially at shortstop and second base. And then the other throw was a Merritt Jones pickoff attempt that was errant. So that's another one that kind of happened there. But I'm going to end this. I think everything looks pretty good. Thank you for joining. If you have any thoughts, please let me know. Otherwise, let me know if this is something you'd like to see us do more often. Hopefully, if you've got any questions, you've had them answered. But again, fun day for the Mighty Mussels, and I'm going to call this a show. Thanks for listening. Check Twins Daily, check Brewer Fanatic, check out our other sites, the Northside Baseball Cubs site, Talk Sox, our Red Sox site. Plenty going on there with the firing of Alex Cora and much of his hitting staff, including former Twins minor league hitting coordinator Peter Fotze and former Twins minor leaguer Joe Cronin. Both let go yesterday. Lots going on over at Talk Sox. Be sure to check out Jay's Center. Trey Savage is about to make his season debut after starting the year on the IL. Jose Barrios pitched in this series at Fort Myers for Dunedin in his first or second rehab outing. He threw 4 shutout innings against the Mighty Mussels, and he looks to be back in the next couple of weeks. So check out Jay's Center, and it's, of course, because it's a Canadian team, it's JAYSCENTRE.com. Be sure to check that out. We got a couple newer sites as well, Padres Mission. So check that out as well, Padres Mission. And then we've got, Royals Keep, which is kind of fun. Keep track of another AL Central team. And that Royals Keep name is kind of interesting if you dig into it and what that references. And then we just kicked off another one, Grand Central Mets, just in the last couple of weeks. So the other thing I'd like to mention is if you're interested in writing on any of those teams, or their minor league affiliates or anything like that, just let us know. Reach out to Twins Daily, reach out to Brewer Fanatic. We're on X, we're on Blue Sky. I think we're on Facebook, on everything, YouTube. So let us know if you have an interest in writing, and we'll get back to you to discuss what your interest might be. So without further ado, thanks again for listening. Have yourselves a great week. And as always, go Twins.